the 5-hole. Raptors Hawks. Trae Young nutmakes FVV.
Oh, no.
And misses a deep three. Tracy, you wish you would have hit it?
I thought he hit that shot, man. Come on, Trae.
Operation was a success, but the patient died.
See that? I like that.
You gotta play up on him, right?
Special.
Like you gotta play up on him because he can launch from any time.
That's
man.
an ankle breaker right there.
It's one thing I just never wish ever happened to me.
Yeah, you don't want to fall.
Nah.
You don't want to fall.
Come on, you can get a steal that way.
That is the utmost confidence to do that, though.
And that's
Well, he's going for a 2-for-1. I will say that.
But you know, I've seen him do that probably 3 or 4 times in this season, where he just throws it between guys' legs. So he's got that in his bag. So it's not something that surprises me.
Miss happiness. Rough night for Andre Drummond in D.C. First, he gets turned around by Bradley Beal, your worst nightmare team, Matt. Then, here it is again. Then, right before the game ended, he takes an elbow to the face and loses a tooth.
Come on, Drummond, get back. Get back.
No fun.
Recover.
Oh,
I'm telling you, once that big body starts going one direction.
You feel bad for Dre? He gets nailed right in the face here. You feel bad for him?
I mean, anytime you lose a tooth, you kind of got to feel bad for a guy. You don't want him to have
What's worse, getting crossed over or losing the tooth?
The crossover. You can put the tooth back.
Yeah.
That crossover's on film forever.
Come on, man. He makes a max contract to play defense. Sometimes you're going to get dunked up. Sometimes you're going to get crossed over.
Probably going to the best.
Yeah, he disappeared on him.
Fine.
Bradley Beal disappeared on him there.
A whole set of new fronts.
Make ambition. Pelicans, Grizzlies. Jackson Hayes gets the feed and tries to end Brandon Clark's career. Tracy, why is this rookie class so angry?
You know what, man? The league is so young now. These young guys should come in and have an impact right away.
Yeah,
Man.
they angry because they're millennials. They're angry about everything.
Oh, this is an old school coach. When I first met you, Fizz, you were a new school guy. Now you're an old school
Oh, no, I'm all kinds
I'd like to point out, it's contractually obligated to point out, Jackson Hayes is a 62% free throw shooter. This is a good foul. It's a good foul to put Jackson Hayes on the line.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Miss selfishness, Lakers, Celtics. Check out the behind-the-back dime from
This is
Marcus
nice.
Smart to Enes Kanter.
That was nice. With the left hand in traffic like that.
And then we go back to Atlanta for this drop-off from Trae Young to John Collins. Fizz.
Yeah, it wasn't like Marcus.
Which of these is better?
Marcus Smart says that's
Off
in
the
traffic.
dribble with the left hand in traffic.
Absolutely.
That's nice.
Yeah. I don't even think it's.
We see that every night.
Yeah,
you don't see
actually,
this right
Trae shouldn't be getting in the air there. It wasn't good fundamentals. Marcus,
That was a nice play by Marcus there with the left hand. That's real nice.
I mean, no offense to Trae. That was awesome assist.
But come on, Ennis, you got to dunk that.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Make authority. A bunch of good dunks around the league last night as well.
Ooh.
Terrence Ross, Bam
J.T.
Adebayo,
Ross.
Deontay Burton.
Ooh.
There's Bam. Here's Burton.
Athleticism. Oh, man.
T-Mac.
Oh, baby.
Which is your favorite?
I think that just was
one
it right there. That was a little
in traffic.
windmill in traffic.
Little creativity right there.
Absolutely. No,
Good night in the association. Lots of games, lots of good stuff.
Some boys can jump right there.
All right. Let's get to the Clippers, who play in the NBA's lone game tonight against the Mavericks in Dallas. Paul George is going to miss another one there, but despite their 30-13 record, there's a feeling like this team is not where it should be at this point in the season. I've got a column today on the ESPN app about how this team differs from super teams of the past.
Yeah.
Coach Fizz, you were part of the Heat coaching staff during the well-known Heatles era. What do you think makes this Clippers team different?
Load management. See, that wasn't even a term when we had those guys together. We didn't even think about resting anybody, and now that's actually a big deal. And so I think for them to build chemistry, at some point those guys are going to have to start getting on the floor together a lot more. And I think that's probably the biggest, difference between the teams. And even then, it took us a year to get that team where everybody was clicking on all cylinders, and they haven't even gotten to the point to figure out who's going to sacrifice what, because somebody's going to have to sacrifice their game.
That was a thing in Miami, right? Learning how to sacrifice.
Huge. Chris Bosh was the biggest sacrifice. He got to a point where he made threes and he focused on the defensive end. And then the really big one was one day when Dwayne came into the gym, and it was just myself, and LeBron shooting free throws, and he said, "You know what, LeBron, this is your team now, and I'll follow you." And when he told him
That
that,
was a big moment.
oh boy, LeBron went crazy and he exploded.
That wasn't
year.
until the second year.
That was the beginning of the second year, and once he said that, we went on a roll.
Was the first year they struggled a lot, right?
We
Trying
was-
to figure
yeah,
out.
We were
each
8
other.
and 9
Right.
to start the season, and a big part of it wasn't that they were fighting for the spot. It was more everybody was trying to give each other space,
Right.
and figure out
Who's going to defer? Who's going to sacrifice?
Absolutely. Who's going to take the last shot?
Yeah, I think with this Clippers team, the challenge is there's these holdover guys who last year had to play their tails off every night to crawl into the 8th seed. And now this year, you've got Kawhi taking it easy. PG's been out with injuries. And like they're taking losses because they're not playing hard. They're having healthy scratches. And some of those holdover guys are like, this is not how we play.
Right.
And Doc actually, I think, got a little annoyed by this within the last couple of weeks. He was like, listen, the 8th seed with the 19th best defense like we were last year is not a great season.
Championship coach.
We want to have a great season this year, and so we're going to go this way.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like they're struggling though. They're
Right.
30 and
But-
13.
but
They're
some of their
second in the West, right?
That's true. But like Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams have both come out and said, we're not a great team. We don't
No,
have
no.
chemistry.
Right. But I mean, that just shows you how great they can be.
Right.
Right.
Because you have Pat Bev, who's been out of the lineup. Kawhi's on his load management. Paul George is dealing with a hamstring. The consistency is not there, and they still are second in the West.
30 wins.
Right?
30 wins.
And they're 2-0 against the team that's in
So,
first
I
place.
mean, listen, there's nothing to worry
And
about.
I think Kawhi came out and said that. Kawhi is like, listen, enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Basically, let load management work.
Absolutely.
We're going to play for the long haul here. And over the last 10 days, Kawhi has been great. He scored
he
30
looked
points.
healthy.
Yeah, and think about what he did the same thing in Toronto. He wouldn't play back-to-backs, and they managed him there. Look how it turned out for him in Toronto. They weren't necessarily the best team in the East the whole year, but when the lights were on and the popcorn was popping, who was on that
I
court?
want to listen to somebody that's actually been through it and done it and achieved the ultimate goal, and that's
Him.
Kawhi Leonard.
And that's him
And
twice.
Doc.
And Doc.
The other thing I'll say is, you know, their best lineup, which I think is PG, Paul George, Harrell, Lou
Will.
Williams, and Patrick Beverly.
Yep.
They've played a total of 46 minutes together.
See.
Right. So come
But
on.
let me ask you this, as a coach, when do you want to have your team getting together? I mean, we are now in mid-January.
I think after All-Star for this team is when it's going to start
Ramp it
coming
up.
together. They're going to ramp it up. Those guys are going to start playing more minutes together, and they're going to be hitting the ground running when they get to the playoffs, and they're going to be strong and healthy. And I still believe the championship is going to be figured out across the street.
I don't blame you. And by the way, Toronto was kind of like this last year. They had a good record. They
Right.
were choppy
Exactly.
the first half of the season.
Exactly.
All right, well, coming up, we're going to hear from Zion Williamson ahead of his big NBA debut tomorrow night. But first, here's what the Jump recommends for today. Malika Andrews, my colleague, with the story up on the ESPN app about the rules for sitting in section 114 at the Barclays Center. The group, referred to as the Block, is responsible for some of the funniest chants you may hear throughout the season. Read it during the break. His opening tip, Jaylen Brown dunked on LeBron James and got a tech for the way he stared him down. T-Mac, was Jaylen being disrespectful?
Not at all. I mean, he dunked on LeBron James. Are you kidding me? You got to stare him down after dunking on LeBron. LeBron doesn't get dunked on often like this.
He's going to ask for his own poster. He'll make his own poster. He won't wait for it. LeBron was cool with it. He was like, listen, sometimes you get dunked on, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, it just
LeBron
happens.
has a lot of bodies.
Yes, he
under
does.
this. So,
That's
I mean,
true.
listen, you play long enough, you're going to get dunked on.
You got
Absolutely.
that right. Welcome to The Jump. I'm Brian Windhorst, in for Rachel Nichols. She is attending David Stern's memorial today in New York. But I am joined by former Grizzlies and Knicks head coach David Fizdale
Thanks for having me again.
and the Hall of Famer, who you know he doesn't need an introduction, Tracy McGrady.
What's up, world? What's up?
Coming up, Zion spoke to the media today about his much-anticipated debut tomorrow, and we'll play that for you and discuss it shortly. But first, we sometimes focus too much in the NBA on the end, that the only thing worth celebrating in a season is the champion. This has always been a bit of a flawed way of looking at the league, and it's really gotten worse over the last decade. To not recognize the greatness and the struggle is a disservice to the game and its stars. With that in mind, today is a day to recognize the greatness of Damian Lillard. In a struggling season with his Portland Trail Blazers, and they've been wrecked by injuries. But he came into last night's game against the Warriors in 11th place in the West, 3 games out of the last playoff spot, and with just 9 available players. But here was Lillard putting on a display that anyone who attended the game or watched it live will not soon forget. He made crazy shot
After shot.
after crazy shot after crazy shot in leading that amazing comeback. In all, he made 11 three-pointers. That was a team record. So were his 61 points in the overtime victory. And that's the thing about Lillard. He doesn't care about the score. He doesn't care about the standings. He chases greatness no matter the circumstances. Take a listen to Terry Stotts, his coach, after the